while you requested a longer piece. I hope this introspective story will resonate with you. The rain fell in sheets, mirroring the relentless downpour in Arthur's heart. 62 years old, and the weight of unrequited love pressed down on him like the sodden earth after a storm. He sat on the park bench, the damp seeping into his worn trousers, a familiar chill settling in his bones. Across the way, Eleanor, vibrant even in the gray light, laughed, her silver hair catching the faintest glimmer of the street lamps. He'd loved her for 20 years, a silent, steadfast love, a devotion as constant as the turning of the seasons. He'd met her at a book club, drawn in by her sharp wit and the way her eyes crinkled at the corners when she smiled. He'd never dared to confess his feelings, content to bask in her presence, to listen to her opinions on everything from Proust to politics. He'd become her confidant, her friend, a role he'd happily accepted, even though it gnawed at his soul. His love for her wasn't a tempestuous affair, a youthful infatuation. It was a quiet, deep current, steady and unwavering, flowing beneath the surface of their friendship. It was in the small gestures, the way he'd always bring her a cup of tea, precisely how she liked it, the way he'd anticipate her needs before she even voiced them. It was in the stolen glances, the lingering moments of shared silence, filled with unspoken emotions. He remembered a particular autumn evening, the leaves of fiery tapestry underfoot. They'd walked along the river, talking about life, about loss, about dreams deferred. She'd confided in him about a past love, a painful heartbreak that had left its mark. He'd listened, his heart aching with a sympathy that bordered on despair. He'd wanted to tell her, to confess the depth of his feelings, but the words had remained trapped in his throat, choked by a lifetime of unspoken desires. Tonight, the rain seemed to amplify the loneliness that had become his constant companion. He watched as Eleanor joined her husband, their hands clasped together, a picture of domestic bliss. A pang of familiar ache shot through him, sharp and sudden. He wasn't jealous, not exactly. It was more a profound sense of loss, of a life unlived, of a love unreturned. It was the quiet acceptance of a reality that had always been just beyond his reach. He rose, the damp seeping into his bones, a familiar chill settling in his heart. The rain continued to fall, a steady rhythm against the pavement, a counterpoint to the quiet symphony of his unspoken love. He walked home, the city lights blurring through the rain-streaked window of the bus, each drop a tiny tear reflecting the vast, unending ocean of his unrequited love. He knew, with a certainty that settled deep within his soul, that this love, this quiet, persistent devotion, would remain his, a secret treasure, a bittersweet melody played only for himself, in the quiet chambers of his heart, while you requested a longer piece. I hope this introspective story will resonate with you. The old house sighed, a tremor in the ancient timbers mirroring the ache in Arthur's chest. 62 years, and the world still felt painted in hues of her absence. He wasn't sure when it had begun, this quiet devotion to Eleanor, a love as subtle as the shift in seasons, as persistent as the sea. They'd met at the village fair, a whirlwind of laughter and cider, her hair the color of spun gold catching the fading sunlight. He, a shy bookkeeper, she, a vibrant artist with eyes that held the stormy gray of a winter sea. He'd loved her from that first stolen glance, a love that blossomed in secret gardens of his heart, a silent symphony played only for himself. Years passed, a tapestry woven with stolen moments, a chance encounter at the market, a shared smile across a crowded room, the fleeting brush of her hand against his as they reached for the same book in the library. Each was a precious jewel, carefully stored in the vault of his memory, gleaming with a bittersweet light. He'd never dared to speak his love, a fear of shattering the fragile beauty of their unspoken connection holding him captive. He watched her from afar, a silent guardian angel, content to bask in the warmth of her presence, even from a distance. Now, the years had etched lines onto his face, mirroring the countless sunsets he'd watched alone, each one a poignant reminder of time's relentless march. His heart, though weathered, still held the same tender flame, a quiet ember glowing in the twilight of his years. He sat by the window, a worn photograph of Eleanor in his trembling hands. Her smile, captured in the sepia tones of the past, was a beacon, guiding him through the lonely labyrinth of his life. The scent of rain on the window pane mingled with the faint aroma of lavender, a fragrance that always reminded him of her. He closed his eyes, letting the memories wash over him, a bittersweet symphony of joy and sorrow, a love story whispered on the wind. He saw her again in his mind's eye, her laughter echoing in the silent room, her eyes sparkling with an untamed spirit. He felt the phantom touch of her hand, the warmth of her smile, the gentle cadence of her voice. It wasn't a love consumed by passion or grand gestures, but a deep, abiding devotion, a quiet reverence for a soul he'd loved from afar. It was a love that had shaped him, refined him, made him a better man. And though it remained unrequited, it was a love that filled his life with a quiet, profound beauty, a love that, in its own way, made him whole. The old house continued to sigh, a gentle lament in the fading light, a mournful echo of a love that would forever bloom in the secret gardens of his heart. While you requested a longer piece, I hope this introspective story will resonate with you. 65 candles on the cake, and all I got was this lousy feeling. It's Agnes. Always Agnes. We met at the community garden. Her, all sunshine and trowels. Me, all weeds and awkward silences. She's got this laugh, like wind chimes in a summer breeze. Except the breeze only blows for her, not for me. Loudly crying face 4 years, I've watched her from afar. She's got that main character energy, always surrounded by people, a whirlwind of activity. Me, I'm more of an NPC in her life, a friendly face in the background. I water her prize-winning zucchini. I offer to carry her bags of compost. I even bake her those damn delicious blueberry muffins she loves. And she just smiles, that dazzling smile that could melt glaciers, and says, "Thanks, Arthur." It's always "Thanks, Arthur." Never anything more. Broken heart, it's not the grand, sweeping, cinematic, unrequited love, No dramatic declarations or tearful goodbyes. It's just quiet, a low hum of longing that vibrates through my bones, like a persistent notification on my soul that I can't seem to dismiss. The subtle ache of knowing I'll probably spend the rest of my days watching her from a distance, admiring her from afar. It's the quiet desperation of a man who knows he's a supporting character in her story, and that's okay. Or is it? Thinking face sometimes, late at night, when the garden is quiet and the moon hangs heavy in the sky, I let myself imagine. I imagine a different life, one where her smile is just for me, where our hands brush while we're harvesting tomatoes, where she laughs at my jokes, the bad ones and the good ones. But then the morning comes, the sun rises, and Agnes is still. Agnes, vibrant, radiant, completely oblivious to the quiet, unassuming man who waters her zucchini and dreams of a life that will never be. It's a bittersweet symphony, this unrequited love. A melancholic melody played on the strings of a lonely heart, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, even though it hurts like hell. Grinning face with sweat.